I essentially created a cloud code or a cursor for marketers. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, November 2nd at 9 a.m. Got my Costco sweater, my $1.50 hot dog Costco sweater. Got some bedhead. I look a little crazy, but this is when I do the best work, and it is time to start working on our next big feature. I am building my very first AI feature into my application, and as a part of that, I'm going to be building my first AI eval as well to evaluate which AI model is performing the best. I don't know which one is going to be the best for the feature that I'm building. For some context, if you're new here, I am a serial app builder. I built over 14 different apps in the past 5 years. And I'm currently building out an app called Yorby, the ultimate social media marketing tool. Essentially, it is a suite of tools helping you cover every single responsibility that you may have to market on social media. Right now, we have two main features that we're launching with. Number one is a hiring feature. We have a service that will help find and hire creators for you, and you only have to pay if we successfully find a creator that you want to hire under your team. And then number two is a viral content database. And this viral content database feature is what I just wrapped up working on last week in last week's video. Essentially, my co-founder and I, we rot our brains on social media for you. We find the most viral pieces of specifically marketing content so that if you are looking for a creative inspiration to figure out how to market your product or your business on social media, we have an entire repository of proven pieces of marketing content that you can get inspiration from. So that is a feature that we built last week, but now we are going to be building our first AI feature, and that is going to include building out our first AI evaluation process as well, which is something I've never done before. But first, what exactly am I going to be building as our first AI feature? So it's one thing to have this viral content database to get inspiration from, but then we want to then add the ability to transform that piece of content or remix that piece of content almost into whatever niche or whatever product that you have instead. So like, let's say you see a nice piece of viral content in the ed tech space in our database. Ideally, we want to be able for you to click a button, and then from there, let's say you want to be able to remix it and make a similar piece of content for a dating app that you're working on. We essentially want to be able to produce a script that is inspired by that original video, but transform it to whatever content, whatever niche, whatever product that you are working on instead. I think the ultimate end goal would be some crazy way to do like a video generation, video duplication of that exact format and bring it to life into whatever niche that you're trying to work with, but that's a little bit further out. No idea how that would work even. I don't even know if the technology is quite there yet. But first things first, we just want to create a script that lets you remix any piece of content in our database into your product or niche that you want instead. So that's the end goal that we're trying to do. And honestly, at first glance, it doesn't seem that difficult. Like low-key, is it just a ChatGPT wrapper? Potentially. But I think there's going to be a lot more nuances involved as well. I think there's going to be like no meme prompt engineering involved, like making sure that we set the prompt up for success to make sure the model knows to make this type of content, like using myself and my co-founder's expertise in social media marketing and social media content generation to make sure the prompt is good, to make sure that it produces content that is in the style of really good, high-performing social media content. But the first thing that we're going to try to do to actually build this out is going to be building out an evaluation system. Right now, the way that we're going to do it is we're trying to figure out which model do we go with for this, which model is going to perform the best. So right now, my first task of today is going to be building out this internal evaluation tool such that we can remix any piece of content that we want, but then in the process, it actually kicks off a conversation with every single AI model out there. Like it does it with all the Claude models, all the OpenAI models, all the Grok models, all the Google models, all of them. And then in our manual testing, we're going to have to go in and see which one do we think with our social media expertise is the best performing model. And then we're going to just do this for tons and tons of pieces of content inside of our viral content database. And then hopefully use this data to, number one, pick which model we want to move forward with. And then number two, use this data as well to potentially do some fine tuning later on. I don't think that's going to be a part of this video, but later on, I think that'll come. But that is the very first thing that we're going to be doing. Really excited to build out this AI feature. Right now, the first thing we're going to do is actually just build out this admin panel, admin portal evaluation tool right now. It is a lovely Sunday morning. I love me a good weekend work session. Time to get on it. All right, see you in a bit. Now, while I go about and write out my prompts and do some prompt engineering, my hot take is the fact that prompt engineering actually matters a lot less than people think. I feel like these days, the models are so powerful that they can kind of infer and do a lot more with much less instructions. So I think the real alpha is not really controlled by the prompt engineering, but rather the data that you feed into the model and what it's going to spit out. Now, a couple years ago, when the first LLMs came out, definitely prompt engineering was super important. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the models these days are so smart, so capable. You don't have to over engineer that much with prompt engineering. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just my hot take right now. Okay, I didn't expect to be here almost 24 hours later since I last filmed, because you know how I thought that prompt engineering was like, oh, is there really that much alpha? Is there really that much CL in prompt engineering? Maybe not. I actually don't think so. I think I was wrong. I was very wrong on that, because I actually just spent the past 24 hours literally going crazy deep on prompt engineering and AI workflows to get the output to be good, because I just ran into a lot of issues where I had the baseline version of this feature working, right? Where you can get an original viral social media video and then you can enter in a prompt to change it to whatever product or niche that you want to change it to. And I thought that it would work really great, but honestly the output kind of sucked. So I was like, ugh. I spent all day trying to improve the output of it, try to improve the performance of it. And I went through the ringer. I first tried out like a really complex AI workflow. I was like, okay, from this original video, analyze all the strategies that made it work. And then step 2 was like, okay, like let's try to create some different user personas of people that might enjoy watching this type of video on social media. We're gonna use that later. Then step 3 was, okay, remix this content into this new niche, into this new prompt, but create 5 different versions of it. Then after you create 5 different versions of it, take that original user persona you created in the beginning and then grade all 5 of these scripts to figure out which one is the best and which one has the most viral potential. And then if none of them are actually good enough, keep going through this iterative looping process to generate more and more scripts iterated on it and to make it better and more viral and more attention grabbing. And then after all that crazy processing, the results sucked. And I was like, what's going on? I was hell bent on making this really complex AI workflow for like literally 6 hours. I did so much different prompt optimization, paid so much money in paying for tokens to do all this transformation and optimizations. And then at the end, I was like, you know what? Maybe simple is better. So I just did one single prompt. I'm like, hey, transform this prompt, transform this video to this. Do your best to be as succinct as possible. Transform it line by line. Be creative, be funny, keep the original spirit of the video. And it was so much better. Are you serious right now? That was kind of a big lesson to learn. I'm sure that there are ways that I could create a much more in-depth AI pipeline, like an AI workflow to, truly create really high performing content better than just this simple workflow. But maybe I'm just not there yet and I just got to improve my AI prompting skills. That was really humbling that I spent literally all day trying to improve the performance of it with a really complex workflow, but in the end, simple work. What is it? I think there's a business quote out there I've heard. Simple scales, fancy fails. In this case, that was so true. The simplest implementation was the best performing one. At least for now. I do have a part of me that wants to spend another like 6 hours trying to create a more complex workflow to see what I can do to improve it and get better results, but that might have to wait a little bit just because that is an optimization we can add later on. I just want to prioritize shipping this out and getting this to be used by real people as soon as possible. So right now we have built 2 major things. Number 1 is this content evaluation system in our admin portal that us and the team can start using to evaluate which one's good, how this content remix, content transform happens across various different models. And we created just a simple transformation experience with like a one-shot prompt to handle this transformation. And then as part of this like content evaluation process for each of the different models out there, as they're all running in parallel, you can see I have a button that says mark as winner. So we're gonna go through this evaluation process for pretty much every single video in our database and then see which model performs the best by clicking the mark as winner. The best part is the fact that we don't know which model is each of these chat windows represents. It is a completely double-blind experiment. So the whole spirit of doing this is so that we can have no biases of wanting to prefer one model over the other, and instead just from the pure output, mark something as the winner. And then at the end, we're gonna just look through all of the evaluations that we did and see which was the best model. Who knows, maybe this is all for nothing as well, because a part of me also thinks like, hey, maybe we just let people pick and choose which model that they wanna use instead. I think both design patterns of we pick the best performing model for you, and then also the other side of letting users pick and choose which model works best for them and their product. I think that is, both are really valid strategies and approaches as well. But just for some internal validation stuff, we just wanna see which model performs the best. So that's what we're going to do. And we're probably going to go through this process multiple times on a regular basis as we change our AI agentic processing workflow of transforming existing viral marketing content into new product niches and stuff like that. So I think this is going to be a really critical part moving forward, because I think with any type of AI feature or AI app that you're building, some type of evaluations is always really important to have, because you want to make sure you're seeing which model is performing the best and outputting the best results, whether that be quantitatively or in our case a little bit subjectively. Doesn't matter. I still think some type of evaluation is necessary. I'm going to hop on a call with my co-founder for a couple of hours, and we're just going to go through the incredibly manual process of labeling everything, finding out which model is performing the best, and maybe we'll come back and have some interesting results to share for you at the end of this. Okay, after doing a lot of local testing and a lot of evaluation with myself and my co-founder, we have decided and found through the results, which we did through a double-blind testing where we had no idea what the model was and we just picked whichever one qualitatively, which we thought was the best. We are actually finding that Gemini 2.5 Pro and Gemini 2.5 Flash are actually performing really, really well, I guess, in this aspect of creative writing. Now, while that may be the case, I don't know. I still want to spend a couple more hours, maybe a couple more days. It is only Tuesday right now. I want to spend a little bit more days throughout this week of really testing out a lot of different prompt engineering, agentic strategies to try to improve the output that's coming out. Because really, if we think about this could be, in theory, a killer feature, you know? You just get any type of existing viral video out there and then just being able to transform it into another really high-performing script. Obviously, that'd be really great. So I really want to nail this. And we're not in any big rush to get this out. We'd rather spend a couple extra days experimenting, trying out a bunch of different prompt engineering strategies to get the best type of result that we possibly can, even though there very well may be a chance that this will all be for nothing and just the simplest solution is the best solution. But I'd still rather at least try for a couple more days, a couple more different strategies as I do some more research on good prompting strategies, good agentic workflow strategies to see what we can do to make this better. So we have some results that are pretty good that we both think are very good right now, but I want to try to see if we can eke out just a little bit better performance when we take one look at the script, just like one shot script, remixing, transformation, being like, whoa, this is a banger. Right now, it takes a little bit of additional massaging, follow-up prompts, follow-up chatting back and forth with the AI model to get a really, really good performing script. So hopefully we can do something to eke out that slightly additional percentage of improvement. Maybe it'll be worthless. Maybe this is just a waste of time, but I'd rather spend the next day or two to get this process, get this flow down, because I think building out the actual client-facing feature, not that difficult. This is where a big bulk of my time is going to be spent working on. I'm going to do some research on some prompting strategies, and we'll see what comes up tomorrow if we can get some better results, and hopefully I can share those with you.
One thing I really wish I focused more on in the beginning of my app building journey was to not spend too much time building the first iteration of the app. I would spend way too much time trying out different tech stack and focus on an app being perfect instead of done. I mean, even right now with this current app that I'm building, Yorbi, it has taken me so long to just launch the app out into the public. I've taken over a month and a half to build this first iteration, which is honestly not what I would recommend. I'd really recommend you just get an app out with a quick MVP and get it into the hands of users to get some type of signal out there. What I've learned over the years of building apps is that you'll never get your app right on the first try. Rewrites constantly happen over the lifecycle of any piece of software, so I highly recommend you to grasp onto AI app building tools and vibe coding tools. I mean, even right now, you don't even need a laptop to build your own app. There are literally mobile apps out there that you can use to build other mobile apps. For example, this app, Vibecode, which is also the sponsor of today's video, lets you vibe code an entire mobile app directly from your phone, no laptop required. You can literally get access to the most state-of-the-art models like Claude Code directly from your phone, and it even handles things like authentication, database, storage, all for you, and you can even connect any AI feature you want, like text, image, or video generation, no additional setup or API keys required. Then once your app is ready to go, you can publish the app to the App Store from your phone. Truly no better time to be an app builder than right now. There is no excuse to not turn an idea into an app. Thanks again to Vibecode for sponsoring this portion of the video. Yo, chat. Your boy's back. It has been multiple days since I've actually last filmed because I've been so heads down, so locked in. Rebuilding this feature from scratch, essentially. Basically, I had to start completely over. I was just wrong from the beginning, so I had to throw everything out the window, build this brand new feature from scratch. And I realized I just got the ordering all completely wrong from the beginning of this video. From the beginning, I was like, I want to build an internal evaluation tool, and let's evaluate it from there and see which models are performing best. But the thing is, this internal evaluation tool, it worked, don't get me wrong, but the main issue with it was the fact that it was just truly, in a sense, just like a ChatGPT wrap in the purest form. We would just dump all the context that we have about that video, the user dumps in all their transformation and the remix instructions, and then we just let it rip. But the thing is, if you've used AI at all, oftentimes the quality of the input really dictates the quality of the output. I actually had to rework our entire video processing pipeline just to improve the prompt, and I improved the prompt specifically to extract out like the key pieces of information, the key pieces of the video that made it viral, and like what made it viral essentially. essentially. But then that's one part of the input. The other major part of the input is going to be the remix instructions that the users, the marketers of our tool Yorbi, provide to our piece of software. And then at that point, that's when I realized, like, what am I doing trying to build out this internal evaluation tool? Let's just build out the customer feature live, create the true agentic experience to help provide some more guardrails using AI tool calling to really make sure that the quality of the remix instruction input is really elite, really, really good, and we gather as much context as physically possible, and then we can perform the remix much more efficiently. Rather than all this yapping, I'm gonna walk you through exactly what I built and all the little technical details that went on behind it. I essentially created a cloud code or a cursor for marketers. So when you enter in, you have a viral content database, and then in our new feature, when you open up any of these viral content database tools, there will be a big remix button at the top. Because we're not showing it to everybody right now, there's gonna be a big remix button that you're gonna click right there. So when you click it, it'll then take you into this, what we call our agentic marketing expert tool. I actually don't know what we're calling it. For the sake of this video, we'll call it our cursor for marketers, our remixing tool. So right here, we have the entire video, the entire script breakdown of this entire video right here that we feed in as additional context into our LLM calls. And then we have our agentic chat window right here. So we can just go in and immediately just paste in instructions right here to begin the transformation process, or just to provide a little bit of guardrails just to try to guide the user into providing as good of input as possible. We have a template. So from here, we just ask, what's your business and who is your ideal customer that you're trying to target? So then I just entered in this little description of this app that I built. It's actually still live. It's like a AI meeting recording app. It's called Monty, as well as this little explanation of who the audience is right here. So we go in here and then they can generate the prompt, and we basically soup up this prompt to provide more details of the remix instructions. But you also don't necessarily have to do that either. You can just paste it into this normal chat box, chat input down here. So now we begin the transformation process. So right now there are two ways that we do this. So one is the deep think method and the other one is the fast method. Now underneath the hood, they're still using the same model. And for now, we actually found that still Gemini 2.5 Flash and Pro, they're the best performing models. But the big difference between these two is just how many tools that this can call. So for this deep think mode, there are way more tools that it has available to generate your script. So the first thing it does is it asks any clarifying questions. So from here, just click on any of these. I don't know what any of this is. Okay, yeah, just an additional clarifying questions that the LLM wants to ask to help create a better script. So then after you submit that, the next thing it does is it generates a user persona. The reason why we use this user persona is because we will then use this later on after we generate some scripts. We make the LLM assume this user persona and then grade every individual script to determine which one is the best performing one, and we provided a scale on a scale of 1 to 10 on how good it is. So right now we're going through the script generation process. Instead of just generating one script, we generate currently 3 different scripts, just all independent of each other, just to make some variety. Because these LLMs, they're non-deterministic, so you're never really guaranteed a certain output performance. So the way that we can try to improve the output is by generating multiple scripts. And right now, we are grading each individual script by assuming this user persona. So from there, once the scripts are fully graded, we're gonna see the individual scores for each one on a scale of 1 to 10. And then at the end, we just return the one that has the highest score. So you can see right here, it just graded these individual scripts. All of them seem to be pretty good. Okay, this time it showed all 9.8 out of 10. It's not always like that. There's usually a lot more variance there. But in this case, we just return any of them because they're all very, very good. From an actual implementation point of view, the way that it works is via the LLM tool calling. So right here, this is the function that handles all the deep think agentic chat, and we just have way more tools available to it. To ask clarifying questions, create user persona, remix video scripts, grade the remix video scripts. We also have an improved remix video script tool such that if any of the remix video scripts don't meet a score of 8 out of 10, it continuously goes back and iterates and improves it until it hits that minimum 8 out of 10 mark. So this is a much deeper feature with a lot more agentic tooling and agentic logic, and the way that we kind of built this out was Andrew and I, we sat down and asked ourselves, what is our process for making really good videos? Like, how do we approach this ourselves as, quote unquote expert, I hate the word expert, more like quote unquote experienced content creators who know how to make really good videos. So we actually had to create our own step-by-step process in our head and then break it down into these tools that the LLM can then call and use. Now, as you can see, it works pretty well. The script looks pretty good just on first glance, but it did take a long time. As I was originally building this out, I realized this is something that I can get a lot of inspiration from the coding IDEs and the coding agents like Claude Code and Cursor and all of that. So one thing that you can commonly see in the coding agents is the different models or like the different modes. Sometimes you want it to be like really deep thinking, heavy processing mode, and then other times you want a fast mode. So that's where we had this, not necessarily a model picker, it's just a mode picker because the model is the same across both of these modes. Now the difference is when you do into the fast mode, the only tool the fast mode has available to it is the ask clarifying questions tool, and that's it. It doesn't do any of this user persona creation, creating 3 different scripts, grading every individual script, nothing like that, because those are the parts that take the longest. So we wanted to make the response faster, where the script comes back a lot faster for the user and they can just more quickly iterate from there. It was really fun building this out because it really allowed me to use my kind of domain expertise in the engineering and the coding realm and all the really rich ecosystem of AI tooling that's available there, and then kind of just port it over into this alternative space that has significantly less tooling. And I think for anyone that's out there interested in building some type of AI software or software with AI features built into it, that's a pretty interesting angle to look at things at. With, as a software engineer, I think software engineering coding has the most robust and has the most AI tooling built out compared to other industry. Then just take all of that and bring it over into a different vertical, into a different industry instead. And for them, it's going to be much more new and novel because no other industry is well oiled and well equipped with AI tooling as the coding and software development world. That's a feature that we're building out right now. Honestly, pretty good. I'm pretty impressed by it. I think that even as a content creator myself, I'm pretty impressed with the scripts that come out. Now, just like any type of agentic building or creation experience, it won't always be right. Sometimes it'll get it right on the first try. Other times it'll require just further iterations and further refinements. And accordingly here, you can do that here where you can prompt it more to refine it certain ways here and there, or even just rip out the text and port it over into a separate text editor and manually make edits yourself. So that's the feature that we essentially created, this viral content remix feature where we remix the script. Now, that's step 1, and obviously the next logical step is going to be try to figure out how can we build something that lets people not only create scripts, but what if we can build something that lets people create actual videos, like full-blown end-to-end videos or full-blown images that contain this script and contain this knowledge. Now, that's going to be a much crazier feature. There's a good chance it's going to be the next feature that we're going to try to tackle. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens in the next video. But now that you made it all the way to the end of the video here, I'm going to include a little discount code right here if you want to try out Yorbi yourself. There will be some type of discount applied to this code. I don't really know what it is going to be yet. Maybe it'll change over time, but there will be some discount right here. So enter it in, try out Yorbi at a discounted price, or maybe a free trial. I don't know what the discount's quite going to be yet, but just want to say thanks for watching today's video. This is a crazy feature. This is a lot of fun to build, and this is probably the deepest that I've gone into the AI world so far. And it is crazy how powerful this kind of stuff is. Honestly, kind of scary, but also really, really cool. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. I'll do my best to respond to every single one of them. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.